Uh, okay.
There you go.
I come at this with unburdened by a great deal of knowledge, but one question, Mr. Tierney, is: are we swamped by declassification because we're trying to declassify everything? Or what about a system that just said we're just going to work on the declassification of things that people asked for? It seems to me that that cuts the universe of declassification down considerably, or are we swamped even in terms of what people are asking for? Do you see where I'm going
I do
here?
see what you're saying, and I agree. There are certain statutes and executive orders that require that things be just declassified on timetables, and that can always be adjusted when somebody takes a look at it. But I think you're right on the money when you talk about prioritization. It's one of the things we said, that there has to be a system put in place that prioritizing what we need in the government agencies in order to avoid all of those costs that I talked about, the inability to work in the private sector, the innovation, and all of that. And also when the public, these historians, Congress, the public at large, and take those issues, what people want, and put them at the top of the list, and then work it down to those things that least claim for, and then the ones that aren't being sought at all.
Well, and another idea along that same line is to just say everything is going to be declassified after 5 years or 10 years or whatever. And that's the fallback. And then the burden is on the agencies to reclassify if they feel it's justified. In other words, it would be an automatic declassification. And again, it would be, the burden would be on those who did the classification in the first place to say, yeah, we got to keep this classified, or we'll just let it go along with these other million pages.
Well, I'll leave it to my friend at ODNI to respond with what I think would be the obvious intelligence reactions to that, and in terms of, at present at least, the lack of manpower and technology to actually make the kind of review that would be required to see whether or not they should continue with the declassification status they're at, or be reduced or be released on that. I know that we just went through the Kennedy papers, for instance. It was 50 years after the incident on that. There was a great deal of discussion with the FBI and the CIA as to what would release sources and procedures and things of that nature on that, and that was after that many years. So that was a great way to do it. That would presume that everybody had the ability to do it and protect what really needed to be protected.
Well, let me, in my limited time, Mr. Koch, you, not surprisingly, said not me. I don't want to be it. But if not the DNI, then who? My experience in management is you need somebody who's responsible. My management principle is one throat to choke. And one of the problems with this whole issue is it's scattered throughout the government, and there's nobody that can be held accountable for backlogs and delays. So if you don't think it should be the DNI, who do you think it ought to be?
Well, thank you, Senator, for the question. So as I mentioned previously, the president has already authorized both the ISOO and the NDC to coordinate across the executive branch on all declassification activities. The NDC, for example, has been given authority from the president to streamline declassification processes, as well as to prioritize what should and should not be reviewed by agencies. I think that they should continue that process. And for your awareness, we have been working in multiple national level and interagency groups over the past few years to specifically address that prioritization issue, so we can get down to exactly what the American people really want to know, as opposed to reviewing, in some ways, meaningless information that no one cares about and our agencies are spending so much time reviewing in the first place.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I want to express my appreciation to Senator Wyden and Senator Moran for leading on this issue, and thank you to you and the Vice Chair for holding this
Senator
hearing.
King,
I think it's an
you look
important
comfortable. There's some people here saying that you have a brandy and a cigar that we can't see. It's out of sight of camera. Is that?
I'm somewhere in the bowels of the Capitol, but in an undisclosed location.
I didn't see any smoke. I defended you. Just wanted you to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.